Short Talk Stock. Google, which announced new goods such as flagship smartphones, tablets, and laptops in May 2022, is no longer merely a software company, but also announces a significant advancement in hardware. Google, which is dead set on catching up to Apple, is going on a more strategic attack in collaboration with Samsung, a major supporter in the Android side. Google CEO Sundar Pichai and Samsung Electronics Vice Chairman Lee Jae-young met at Google's headquarters in November 2021 to discuss ways to collaborate on next-generation inventions such as systems, semiconductors, air, and autonomous driving. Google and Samsung, which are partners of the adversary in front of Apple, are also rivals who must battle to remain in the market by throwing checks on one another. Let's look at Google's fascinating technological product development and realistic collaboration approach with Samsung, which is well recognized in the media, from building its own semiconductor to introducing a new operating system, and how Apple works with LG. When Apple's iPhone revolutionized the world in 2007, Google was already planning its response. Samsung's Galaxy smartphone line, which debuted in 2009 with Google's Android operating system, is currently at the forefront of Apple's Android phones, with models ranging from the Galaxy S10 to the Galaxy S22. In addition to the Galaxy, Samsung was in charge of producing Android's reference smartphone Nexus, also known as the Galaxy Nexus, as well as installing Samsung Electronics AP processor Exynos, and developing tablets such as the Nexus 10 in partnership with Google. Google, like Apple, has disclosed its SoC design in earnest, and instead of Qualcomm's Snapdragon processors used in Google's devices and Pixel series, Google's own AP chip Tensor has been utilized, starting with Pixel 6. From the design and development process of Tensor, it is known that Samsung is also manufacturing chips with close cooperation. Google wished to benefit from a closed approach, similar to Apple's construction of its own software platform and hardware by iOS, and to depart from an open ecological strategy used by hardware manufacturers such as Xiaomi, Apple, and Samsung to convert their products. Furthermore, Google's design of chips to be put in Waymo, a self-driving car, is viewed as Google's shift in approaching Apple's success formula. Google aspires to be the next Apple. They want to build an ecosystem that includes both software and hardware. They are now working on a smartphone Pixel series, a Pixel Buds Pro, a Pixel Watch, and even a foldable phone. In May, they exhibited their future ecosystems by showcasing items that had not yet been published. Google's quick release of hardware bits might be interpreted as a vote of confidence in its technology. Typically, by exploiting dark and bright features on the screen, you may automatically shoot high-quality shots using a computational photography machine learning technique that generates high-quality pictures with software in plane. Furthermore, it provides new and innovative services, such as Real Tone, which collects skin tone and color using machine learning-based face identification models and incorporates their strength, AI technology, into smartphones. Google has a strategy in place to have a decisive lead over Apple in the operating system competition. Android currently accounts for over 72% of the world's mobile operating systems, considerably ahead of Apple iOS, which ranks second. However, Google is concerned because open-source companies like Samsung and Xiaomi make it easy for anybody to use Android. There is an inherent constraint to not being able to lock customers in their ecosystem like Apple. With Apple's iPhone accounting for more than 60% of the world's premium smartphone market, over $400 in the first quarter of this year, Google's position in operating system is progressively eroding due to the growing popularity of premium models such as iPhones over Android. To address this issue, Google is building the next generation of operating system, Fuchsia, which will maximize smooth interaction with Google goods while merging the Android family into a single one. Unlike Android, which has been under development since 2016 without a rumor, Fuchsia is an integrated operating system that includes not only mobile, but also PC, tablet, AI speaker, wearable device, smart home appliances, and smart cars. When Apple launches the current version of its operating system, consumers immediately update their iPhones. But for Android users, the renewal rate is less than 10%, because smartphone manufacturers such as Xiaomi and Samsung have the right to upgrade. As a result, it is difficult to make the most recent features available to all users, and there is a high risk of security and performance issues. However, with Fuchsia, Google is painting a bigger picture of Google's involvement in operating systems and further growing its ecosystem by reclaiming operating system update privileges for all scattered devices. It is also a means of surviving the competition in order to capture data for Google's desire to operating system and develop into hardware. And the YouTube algorithm we're looking at is also a representative service offered based on Google's data collection. As previously stated, Google's Android market share is quite high. However, owing to open source's inherent limitations, smartphone manufacturers can directly change and transform operating system and put them on the market. In the beginning, Android was widely used, and it was simple to collect basic data from each manufacturer's smartphone. However, Google ran into problems as the types of data gradually diversified, and manufacturers were unable to collect data on their own and provide data to Google due to the security of personalized data. Apple collects and uses data from users via the iPhone's iOS. And as time passes, the gap in critical data collection of new services, such as health location payment biometric, is worried, which is why Google is accelerating its operating system occupancy. However, AI technology is another secret weapon for Google that has left this platform competition in the dust, as new technologies such as AI dialogue model Lambda and next-generation machine learning chip TPU-v4 are required. Google naturally built its own semiconductor tensor for smartphones and AI semiconductors for data centers. They create TPUs that specialize in matrix and vector operations required in artificial intelligence learning or inference, such as Tesla's training node, Apple's Neural Engine, and NVIDIA's Tensor Core, as well as their own specialized chips, like Apple and Tesla do. Meanwhile, Samsung and Google continue to collaborate closely in order to catch up to Apple. Google is a strong supporter of the operating system software platform, and Samsung is fortifying their strategic collaboration by assisting with semiconductor design and production. Google's Pixel series and Samsung's Galaxy are competitors, but the two companies' collaboration is likely to provide significant synergy in the long run. To avoid being hunted by Google, Apple is taking good care of its existing partners while strengthening its ecosystem. Apple, for example, has entrusted its long-term partner and global foundry market leader TSMC to produce M2 Pro chips for Mac Pro, while also expanding its partnership with LG, which has long supplied LCD panels for Macs and iPhones. It remains to be seen whether the complex situation of Apple, Google, Samsung, and LG, which are making their side here and thereby fighting fiercely, will continue to be maintained or face new changes.